Oh God!
Oh,
Hello and welcome. We are live,
we're live.
and you're listening to Let's Throw Out tonight. You have got a intimate show with me and Curry Kitten.
Join us. Get a glass of wine. Hello.
Um, yeah, right. So it's the audience job of making sure that we don't go on a complete whinge fest. So we're gonna talk. I've got the chat here. And as soon as we start whinging, like, I don't know, middle-aged guys, let us know if you guys
Some
have
of us are
enough.
even more middle-aged than others.
I know.
We did talk about whinging, but if we do that, stop us and feel free to make the direction of the show, because we only had a couple of topics we thought about covering. And as my little thing down the bottom says, I still haven't flown anything. I did drive an RC boat, which was very underwhelming. Review comes out tomorrow where I say this is boring. But hopefully we'll be getting on flying. I did fit a brand new receiver to my old Mini Talon. I'm trying to get this 14-channel ERS receiver from Beta FPV to work with an old flight controller. I've got the Vector autopilot, and I've managed to make the receiver talk S-Bus and PWM at the same time. So it talks S-Bus to the flight controller, and I've got individual channel to talk to my pan servo. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get RSSI working, because it's like it expects like something in the PPM stream, or it expects a voltage between 0 and 3.3 volts to indicate the RSSI level. That's how old it is. So that'll be interesting. Do you remember those days? You would remember those days, because we never did that on quads, did we? That was an old amazing AP thing for planes back in the day, having this voltage that would come out and indicate your RSSI.
No. The earliest I had that SWR malarkey with the Tyrannus and everything, and my first transmitter was the Turner GX9D or X9. I don't know whether that had a
Yeah, that was
D.
X9D. Yeah.
X9D, yeah. And same molds as the Tyrannus, and I failed my first attempt of modding it to put the internal FreeSky little adapter kit in, and because I was following the RC Hackers tutorial of how to get the telemetry to the radio, and it meant like reassigning pins and soldering jumpers and stuff. And I got it by the time I started Radio C, and there was spare broken X9Ds. I picked one of those up and then successfully completed the mod on a new board. But by then I had the Tyrannus, and I still have that radio. And I went back and I cleaned up the mod as well, redone it with all the silicone wires and short cable runs and everything. So it was like pretty clean.
Good work. I was interested, actually. I got my Tyrannus out.
Yeah.
And I actually replaced, as I said last week, I replaced the real-time clock battery, because I had my Mini Talon mix on this. And I found this mix, and for the life of me, I'm like, what is this? And if I look at it, it says it is, I'll read you from my mix page, channel 7. Source of max, which is fine. It means when we switch a button, we can assign it at something. When SB is up, which is this one, up, it goes to a weight of 56. And I don't know what that is at all. The other channels, pretty good, because I've got two free position switches for doing various modes. But I've got this one thing, is like, if that's up there, then change channel 7 weighting to 56. Don't know what that is. It's kind of like, it's not on, it's not off. It's just a little bit past halfway. It's going to be an interesting flight, I think. Going back to older models.
Yeah, it's the Eternity 9X. It's not a 9XD. 9XD, I think, is the Tyrannus.
Yeah, X9Ds trainers. Yeah, sorry, Turner G9X. Yeah, I had one of those. I put the was it the Smarty Parts board?
Yeah, so that
Yeah, I had
used,
one of those, so you could actually flash it with. Was it ER9X at the time, which was
yeah,
just before OpenTX, wasn't it?
yeah. So mine has OpenTX, but unfortunately, they're like bugs got introduced. So then when I went to do that same mod for someone, the reassigning different switches to the switches didn't work, and yeah, couldn't go back far enough to the working. Yeah, nightmare.
Yeah, I've still got mine kicking around for some reason. I'm not sure why. But I used I did the external mod. It was quite interesting because the original 9X that I got from Hobby King had like the Fly Sky module, but you couldn't take it out because it had an internal wire up to the antenna.
Yeah, they all
So you
do.
had to like take it out and rip these bits out and stuff before you could actually put something back in again. It's a bit silly.
I know.
Stupid design.
Caroline, what happened with the mini track? Did you put up a video? What happened? I'm curious.
Yeah, I haven't seen a video yet. The last I saw the one of the other wing that was a little bit like it, but not that one. Did it come back?
Yeah.
Ooh,
did you see? Bruce's video about the remote ID patrols?
I did, because I replied
it?
to him about. Yeah, I replied to him about the. I got the same message from YouTube, and it was a bit ambiguous. Where it's really interesting. YouTube sends you a message because great news, we're gonna enhance your advertising by taking all the control away from you. It's like, what now?
I know.
And I was a bit confused as well because I don't like mid rolls and I don't use mid rolls. I was like, oh, I don't want mid rolls going on my ads. And I looked at it, and it seems like they're gonna. It seemed like it was just pre and post, but it wasn't explicit enough if they were going to do anything about the mid roll. So he's trying to get a response from that, and he said he's got nothing. But yeah, it was quite interesting. Bruce's video about remote ID, because he was kind of like, it's unlikely there's going to be like swarms of people out, and it's kind of, I mean, we were just talking about earlier, weren't we? It's like pretty much everybody that flies in this country, unless they're flying at a club, is doing something illegal, whether it be the VTX power is greater than 25 milliwatts, or you're flying on your own, which most of us do without a spotter. It's just like, oh, okay, they've just put another bit of illegality in there as well for us with this new remote ID thing. Should we care, or should it just like another thing not to bother with? It's hard to tell, isn't
it? MO. Trying to figure out how to spell the word moaning.
MOANING.
Hang on, M-O what?
MOANING.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
So the
carry on.
I was just seeing Caroline's response there, saying it sounds like the ESC firmly shut down. So I guess you still had the BEC, so you could use the servo, so you could at least glide it down somewhere. No, Richard Warwick makes a good point there, because me and Jack was just talking about this before we came on. We were talking about Ofcom. Ofcom apparently can. What was the apparent sentence for like going over power and stuff? It was like jail time, and it's like, I've never heard anybody fined for flying without a spotter, and I've never seen anybody fined by Ofcom for flying over 25 milliwatts. The only people you hear about getting into trouble are the very obvious issues, like drones over live football stadiums, or, oh, I just want to take a picture of my friends flying off on holiday, so I'll follow their jet along. That sort of really stupid bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm waiting for the day, really. I'm just, or, you just get a dickhead cop who just wants to, has got to be in their bonnet and just doesn't like the look of you. Because, I've experienced that, just.
That time you got arrested for trying to open your own car door.
Yeah, basically.
You do look like a Roman. And no one would believe your car is your car because you look like a clown car trying to get into it.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know, I still hear PSs off that, that, my name's written down somewhere. So, still to this day,
Who knows? The other thing mentioned in that Bruce video, which I picked up on, and I tried to do some research on it. I don't know if anybody knows, is about the export regulations from China about drone stuff. Generally, it's like they wanted to restrict the export of drones. Their sort of point of view in it is like, oh, we don't want it being used in wartime. Politically, China are quite aligned to Russia, and it could be like, oh, they don't want Ukraine getting hold of the drones to keep blowing up Russian stuff and that sort of thing. But I tried to get hard and fast facts about this, doing trying to use Google to try and actually pin down the document about what was restricted. And I really couldn't find it. All I got was larger drones capable of carrying a payload and flying a long distance, but it really didn't tell me, a flight controller is going to get export controlled, a smaller DJI drone is going to get controlled. It's all a bit vague. I wondered if anybody knew any hard and fast facts there, because I couldn't find any.
Am I right in thinking that had been coming in for a long time?
Yeah, it was announced in August, and it came into effect on the 1st of September, apparently. So it's been sort of active for a week now. But it's just, there was nothing I could find which sort of categorizes exactly what the restrictions would entail. Because, it'd be a right pain in the ass if it's like every motor and every flight controller and stuff. If it's just like, matrices, then don't care. No. The market for that's quite small. But I think, as we've seen in Ukraine, they're using quite small drones, both for spotting targets and going their little kamikaze bomb type drone things.
Am I right in thinking that like they put in a rule where you couldn't do any government stuff with a drone that was China origin?
Yeah, that's in the US. So the other question is the US and China are having a kind of a bit of a trade war, if you like, because when that crazy guy came into power, he basically said, "Oh, China's bad. We've got to stop China. We got to introduce US coal and stuff." And did a load of,
you mean fucking Trump?
Yeah, I don't like to say his name out loud.
On top of what's it?
Just in case he appears behind me like a crazy person.
Yeah, you got to say.
Yeah, so
you got to say his name 3 times.
3 times while looking in a mirror. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he sort of brought that in, and it's kind of stayed there. So now this is fed into, I don't know if it's hysteria or what, but it's like no DJI stuff can be involved in government or military type stuff, which is probably something put about by the sort of US military people trying to get their stuff sold. But I suppose it's always a bit of a risk if you don't know exactly the data going to and from what's going on. If you start up a DJI drone, there is a bunch of packets being sent off over the network somewhere to say something, and we don't know what's going on. But yeah, so the question is this just like a response to the US versus China in sort of export controls, or is this China sort of saying, oh, Russia, our pals in Russia don't want us having drones sent off to Ukraine? There is apparently some some terms and conditions of these, which say these are not military drones and should be not used as such. It's like, well, I don't know. I don't think particularly. I'm just having a recreational flight, and I just happen to have a bomb strapped to the bottom of it. You know.
Mm. I mean, that was always the argument, was that, you know, like, anything can be a weapon if you try hard enough, and you know, the main problem is you have a bomb, you know, not
Yes.
the drone.
The problem is not you have a drone. It's like, that's dangerous. The problem is you have a bomb, and you know, you can throw it, you can put it in a van, you can strap it to a dog, or dolphin, as things were in the past, or you can attach it to a drone and blow things up that way.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Caroline's saying, I've heard big orders of FCs, etc., will be blocked, which sounds bad because flight controllers have gone up in price as it is, let alone with new export controls coming in.
I can't think of anything worse. Well, sooner or later, we're going to have to be sort of like buying the flight controller without the main chip on it, and then having to reflow it on ourselves.
It'd be like the olden days. I was like, I'll get the KK board out again, and this is like high value stuff now. Those great big IMUs that stick up like this.
Oh God! Can you imagine going back to that bullshit? It'll be like,
no, I tried it. It was awful.
You know, where they're like hacking bloody like appliances. You know, like strapping external motors to like your washing machine just to get it to work, or you know, or like making, you know, like a series of resistors that plug in the wall in order to charge people's hearing aids. I was just like, oh man. It's a YouTube video. I can't think of what it is, but like, yeah, back in the day when like Cuba was like sort of like locked away from the US, and imports and exports weren't a thing, and like the sort of you know, making stuff work.
I keep seeing like things pop up in my timeline on Instagram or Facebook where like someone in some country in Africa has made a drone, but it's all made out of cardboard because they've just like seen a picture and like, oh, I'll try and do that.
Yeah,
so that's probably not going to fly, to be fair.
Well, you know, we're going to have to, Marshall McFly is going to have to be like, you know, winding motors for us and stuff like that. I'm going to be like,
making them from scratch.
Yeah, soldering like flight controllers together for people by hand.
Whoa.
Yeah,
sometimes
it might be good though, because that means that Dominic Clifton will be, you know, one of the only people who will be able to import large amounts of flight controllers, because he's not in a conflict of interest, you know, place.
Yeah, that's it. Your only source of flight controllers will be Dominic with his little pick and place machine, churning them out as fast as he can.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
But at least the OSD will be good.
Yeah, no worries. Are you up for chatting to Failsafe for a bit?
Sure.
Failsafe is, you know, messaged and, you know, like, was chatting in the chat, talking about can you shoot me a message, buddy, in my Discord? And yeah, we'll get you on, talk about Drone Fest, because cool. Failsafe's been to FPV Drone Fest.
I suppose whilst we're waiting for that, the other thing to mention this week is that just like FIFA games, GoPro have deleted the 1.1 and put in 1.2 of the camera, which, as far as I can tell, looks to be the exact same hardware,
in your opinion,
almost the same spec. I can't find anything that says what's different. I reckon they've just changed the software, because the resolution's the same, or the modes seem the same. They're saying they can get more life out of the battery. My GoPro let me down again this week, which decided to do about half an hour recording without any sound at all.
What?
Yeah. I've got completely quiet nothingness.
Oh my god, I've heard nothing but complaints about these new GoPros. They don't work when it's too hot. They don't work when it's too cold.
No.
They don't hold
When I
their
was in
charge.
Canada last, I turned it on and it filmed for 9 seconds and then said battery empty. And it's just the fact it was cold. And then you go somewhere else and film, and then it overheats within 10 minutes and stops. And my media mod seems to make it crash or not charge the battery or run the battery down. It's a nightmare, which is why I was like, I think I'm just going to buy an Insta360 for my next camera. It's not what I really use on the quad, but I use it for like when I'm out filming stuff. So it's right pain in the ass, generally.
Built-in RID chip in it. I don't know. Hey, Serb, how's it going? How's it going?
Built-in ID chip in it.
I need to send you a link. You need to message me on Discord.
Send him a link.
I haven't got. Oh, there he is. Failsafe. I am slightly disappointed in Failsafe because he still hasn't done the KK2 board I sent him.
1 outrage.
GoPro have really gone to shit of late. Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
Stubbsy's saying his 10 seems okay. He's like, you haven't used it long enough. How come it's not overheated? What have you been doing with it? Are you just filming it for 3 minutes at a time? It's like I've had so many doesn't want to turn on issues, have to take the battery out and put it back together, and then not charging, and then it corrupted a whole memory card. My GoPro 7 was okay. That's what I use if I fly a quad these days.
Yeah, the 7 was great, except the gyro date was absolutely gobshite. So then you can't use it with real steady or anything. Not that I would ever really do any of that.
No, well, me neither. And the inbuilt stabilization was good enough for me, I think.
Yeah,
but I think what happened,
you know, the flickery sort of motioniness.
my stuff looked all right. I generally think that what happened is after the 7 and 8, they kept like saying, "Oh, look, we can put new features in here, new features in here," but they didn't think about the energy that would take and the overhead on the processor, and they're just like, "Oh, processor overheated and shut down. Oh well, it'd probably be okay." And it's just carried on like that, and they just keep introducing more and more features and sort of, let's go higher resolution, let's go higher frame rates, and let's keep the processor exactly the same. And it's just like grinding it into the ground.
Yeah, leftover processors. I know. What did you think of the 11 mini? Did that do anything for you, or are you just like, meh? It's not a session.
Not really, because it's like, oh,
Did you ever have a session?
A session. I had the original session, but not the session 5. So I've still got it. The session. It was just called the session back then.
Yeah,
that was fine. I like the size of it and stuff. And I flew it lots. And I had this weird crash where the entire back peeled off and had to get it replaced, which was weird. But yeah, that was a fine camera. But like the 11 didn't do anything for me because the 11 mini was heavier than the 7. I was like, well, that's a bit pointless. It's not really mini, is it? It's not like properly naked.
Oh man, I had you know, my session 5s, man, the batteries on them, they're not great. They're not great anymore.
Wow, shame you can't replace them.
I know, yeah. Probably could if I tried hard enough, maybe. But I think I'd end up just destroying them. You know, and I stripped my 7 down to a naked, and then, you know, then I found out the gyro data is absolute garbage. So you couldn't use the steadiness on it. So I was just like, no, I'm done. Yeah, Cerberus, you all right?
Having an SL on the stick with part will knock over will give me the ick.
Yeah. I've sent you the link on Discord, Failsafe. Do you know what Discord is? So hopefully you'll show up. But yeah, he said.
Sorry, I was going to say I'm the same as Stubbsy. Stubbsy, he has his like the latest GoPro. That's his nice one, and then the previous one goes on the quads. Like he used to be my session, my GoPro Hero 4 went on quads when I had the session, and then now I've got the 10, the 7 goes on. He's running away. Come back.
I know.
I don't think he understands live broadcast because he's just run out the door. I've just got stage fright. There he is. He's back.
Hello. Oh, you can hear me. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, you sound good, man.
Yeah, I spent like too much on the microphone and oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
very clear.
Hey, damn. Sick.
Well done.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah.
Were you watching us?
Oh yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that is really cool.
You do know you're on a
The most excited anyone's been whilst joining LDO before. I was quite impressed.
I know. Thank you. It makes us feel a bit better. How was for anyone listening? This is Failsafe.
Failsafe.
I refuse to call him by his real name. It's Failsafe. That's how we all know you. You went to the FPV Drone Fest. How was it?
It went so well. Hang on, let me sort my microphone out, camera out. Yeah, it went so well. It just everything happened what needed to happen. There were a few hiccups there and there, but I think the 60 pilots we had going just absolutely loved it. So yeah, the team smashed it. It was so good. It went so well. There was one day a favorite moment. Oh, I think a favorite moment would be at Saturday night in the social area where we just had Dean Halt Blackheath. I don't know if you heard of him, but he was doing a DJ set, and I think that was just amazing. There was only really me there. Like I was sort of commentating for that because we had a load of whoops. We had like a whoop area, and then I was also helping out in there. That's probably the favorite moment. It did rain on the Saturday for a tiny bit. We did like predict it would rain all day Saturday and things like that because the weather wasn't looking great, but it only rained for like 30 minutes and then it was all fine. So yeah, other than that, went really well.
So the stuff they had set up, which was pretty cool because it was all sort of, it was a, I want to say paintball, but that was the old fashioned way. What's the shooting thing now? It's something else, isn't it?
Airsoft.
It was an airsoft site, wasn't it? So it had all these sort of looked like porta cabins and stuff, and it looked like it was quite tight on a 5-inch to sort of get through and around those things. How did you actually find the flying?
Yeah, so it was proper tight. You're right. It was a lot smaller of a site than we had last year. So the site we had last year was at a Clipstone Colliery, sort of in the Midlands somewhere. I don't know the exact location, somewhere in Cambridge or something. That was the last site. I wasn't heavily involved with that one. I kind of just turned up as a pilot. But this time we're at an airsoft site, so it was quite a bit tighter than last year's stuff. But the benefit of that is that there wasn't any sort of unreachable places because last year there was plenty of times where people were getting stuck on like massive high buildings. In fact, I lost a drone at the very top of one of the chimney tower things at the very top platform, and I wasn't able to get it back. So that was one 5-inch drone just gone. But it was surprisingly pretty good. There was, I don't think we had that many crashes, but when people did crash, they didn't break. They really didn't break much. They broke props because it's all wooden. It's not really concrete or metal or anything they can really break something on. So I don't think many people broke stuff. It was mainly just sort of props. We had around 600 sets from GemFan that sent us to sponsor the festival. So, we were just constantly giving away prizes. We had a whole night of where we're literally just spinning a wheel. And then we were just giving away, this landed on this person. We just gave away something random like a beta or something, whatever beta or FPV or one of our sponsors sent us. We just gave so much away. Like, we're having people winning. There was free GoPro Hero 11 minis given away. There was Insta360 there giving away stuff. All the sponsors were, just constant giveaways and stuff like that and challenges. Yeah, that was really good. So it was, yeah.
I watched a bit of a video from, I forgot who it was. I think one of the camera sponsors made a video, and I saw that almost everybody appeared to be on DJI goggles. Was there a mix of analog and different digital stuff, or was it all pretty much DJI?
Yeah, there was quite a lot of digital. There was a fair bit of analog as well. To be honest, I was surprised the amount of people that are on analog. You know, it's a very mixed bunch of people. A couple of walks now as well, and we all pretty much all got along well. There was a slight issue though, in that I think we had some tent or something. We just kind of misunderstood. We didn't really do a lot of research into the channels, because I think one of the tents was getting blown out or having problems with O3 or something. One of the channel tents. We had like basically each tent was separated in channel 1, channel 2, and that was about 5 flight lines, I think. And then we had each of them had around 10, 15 people in them, because we had sort of 60 pilots total, plus other people as well. Yeah, overall they went really well in terms of channels. I think there was, like I say, other than that slight hiccup, then I think generally everyone was pretty happy. Yes, Richard Roach has been a chat. R4, that was it. Yeah, that was the tent. I didn't actually fly. I didn't bring a single drone. I was there I was just doing music throughout the whole thing. Like I was just constantly trying to figure out what songs to play throughout an entire day for like 4 days or something, or 3-4 days. And I was trying to mix it up. So it's really difficult to play music all day and like keep it interesting, keep songs that people are going to want to play here. And that was kind of my sort of goal, was the music and the PA. So we were all stepping in where we could, got around 12 people as organisers or something. We were all helping out. The flight lines were run really well as well. We had people going out there to collect the drones. Emotional damage, yes. Yeah, so I bought actually this thing right here. This Rodecaster Duo, which I bought. And of course you can assign buttons and sound effects. So I assigned like one of them, which is like emotional damage. In fact, I might be able to play it now. Hang on. Hang on there.
Classic name.
Emotional damage.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, it was a bit loud.
Yeah. So that was one of the sound effects. We were just constantly playing, and we had like a air horn as well, which I was playing. And like, for example, when we did a challenge and someone just crashed or something, I would just be pressing that button. It was so fun. We had this youngest pilot there, Ethan FPV. I think he's only like 8, and he was absolutely insane. The things that just he can do is just ridiculous. And he was there just with me pretty much, constantly wanting to push the buttons like, on the thing, just constantly letting off sound effects. Yeah, it was good. It was really good.
I can't be easy playing music all day.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I did. I had my watch on and I did. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry guys. I mean, I'm wearing headphones too, but it's probably not cranked up as much. Yeah, it was really hard. Like the one thing you got, what was I going to say? The one thing you got to do is just keep it interesting all day. And playing all that music all day was just a lot of work, surprisingly. I did like 25,000 steps one day, just like pacing around, like behind the mixing desk. The amount of stuff I did, but that's really good. Yeah.
So you like didn't just go to Spotify like FPV?
I did
playlist and like rinse through.
The issue with it as well was Spotify and my data signal. I was with Vodafone. I just actually switched to EE because of how bad it was that weekend. I literally got no signal at all throughout the festival location, and everyone else could. So I was the one. I had my phone connected.
Vodafone's like one of the best back in the day.
Supposedly, yeah.
It just depends on the area. It can be so flaky, yeah.
And then someone else on Vodafone who actually was hotspotting off of to play the music, and they were fine. So yeah, I don't know if it's my phone or whatever, but it's the fact that we didn't have much like data signal, and luckily what we did was before the festival, we sort of put on the FPV Drone Fest Facebook group. We created a playlist on Spotify, put all your songs in there which you want to go on, want to be played at the festival, and basically just set that playlist off on shuffle, just playing all the songs from there. So yeah, that's kind of what I mainly did, and then I put in because there were some random songs in there. Like someone added like SpongeBob SquarePants and all this stuff into it. I was like, okay, maybe not play that. I don't know. But yeah, there was some random stuff in there. But we tried to mix it up as well. We had like, you know, a whole section that was like singing, it's just catering for that wide audience as well. So we had a whole section. I was like, look, there's this guy next to me called, I think, Ed, who's quite into metal. And I was like, okay, look, can you take control of the music for like, you know, 20 minutes? Let's have a 20-minute session of just metal. And it went really well because it just catered for so many different people, what they're into. Which is what I think went so well about it. Yeah, the music went really well.
That's a good question actually for the chat here and for you, Falsafe. Do people listen to music while they fly? I know a lot of freestyle pilots tend to do this to get into the groove. I have always been completely silent in my ears in terms of me flying around. What about the rest of you guys?
Oh, we when we go out in groups, we do have, you know, occasional Bluetooth speaker just playing random, you know, songs that people like. And I think it is a nice thing to have music when you're flying because you kind of, in some songs as well, particularly, you know, you can kind of fly to the song, which is really cool. And it just helps you get, you know, I just see Caroline's put in the chat. No, I'm concentrating too much. Yeah, there's that side of it as well. But I quite like it. But I do find it can be a bit distracting, like particularly if you're flying some location and, you know, there's people walking around the bando as well, and you need to hear your surroundings. Then it's not great. But then again, if you got a Bluetooth speaker or something, then that's more than fine. But yeah, I think definitely.
It can drown out the screams. I think that's can only be a good thing. But yeah, it's like for people that exercise or run, that often you go with a very specific BPM to keep your running beat to, and I don't know how that transfers into FPV. It's like I've got to keep looping or rolling on the beat, 120 BPM, just like constantly going around things.
I randomly, speaking of music, I walked past someone, was like, nice shirt. They had the Beat Ribbon bunny
I think
t-shirt, you know, the PS1 game, Corey, that you like.
Beat Ribbon.
Oh,
Viv Ribbon.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, Viv Ribbon. Yeah. And I was like, oh, and he was like, the first person, he's like, mate, you're the first person that's ever like known what that is. And I was like, I felt bad because I obviously I don't play it. I know it from you. So learned behavior.
You should play it. It's good.
No, I don't know whether I'd be. But yeah, I've got the little Bluetooth speaker that I carry around with me when flying, and I obviously it's a bit dated regarding the music because it was all kind of like bit sort of like open, like royalty free, but sort of dubstep-ish from you know, like the flight videos and stuff, and back when like Rotor Riot was good and stuff, and you know, we were obviously like playing all that sort of stuff on the early days of on the Thursday night show back when LDO first started. So I don't know whether, I mean, Failsafe probably wasn't even born then, and Curry definitely hadn't joined us by then. I don't know whether you tuned in to listen to any of that back in the day.
I hadn't heard of you since you sent me that bizarre email.
The badly written email. It worked though. It worked. Hang on, I will be back. Curry, cover for me.
I will carry on.
Yeah.
So, is that? Am I right in thinking that's the idea? Is to use that site again for next year?
We are considering it. Yes. It's something we're considering. It did work really well. We did have, you know, we had a camping area. It was quite well set up in that we had, you know, we had proper toilets this year. Like last year, the toilets were just horrendous. Like we had two things, and anyways, you get the picture. But yeah, we had showers built as well by members of the team, because basically that was probably last year when we had one shower, so we kind of improved upon that in this year. So we had two showers. We spent a bit of money out of the budget to build, and some of our awesome team that is Mamba FPV and Chase FPV. They're both carpenters, so they both built showers for the event. Those worked out quite well. So yeah, the facilities there were really good. We had also food as well. We had food there. Yeah, there's definitely things we can improve on, like bigger camping area, because we kind of had these, like, we're all based in the woods. Basically, we were camping in the woods where there was trees everywhere, and it wasn't particularly great, some of the areas for camping, but that's something we're looking to improve on next year, and we're already sort of going through the feedback and figuring out how we can improve it. But yeah, I think we potentially will be back next year, but that's not confirmed yet. But we are going to be looking to starting to arrange the next festival, because yeah, this one's been a huge success. It's got so much positive feedback from it. Yeah,
That's cool. So I think the colliery was a sort of epic site, but not so good if you can't recover things from it, and they break a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah. Every drone, no, but we didn't lose any drones this year at all, I don't think. So in terms of recovery, it was good. But it did work quite well. Yeah, I don't think that was much of an issue, especially compared to last year. That was definitely better. But I think next year, what we're planning on doing is sort of helping out in terms of the spectator part of it, because we didn't really have any screens for spectators to watch. It was all sort of watching as it live. So that's actually something, perhaps speak to Cerberus actually, who's in the chat, about potentially looking into ways we can sort of promote or stream it, or because I know there's certain regulations in streaming. Like, I'm pretty sure you have to have a license or something to stream video from an event. I might be wrong, but yeah, we're going to be hopefully looking into that next year, and maybe having an outdoor display as well. So having it so we can, spectators can actually properly see people's live feeds on this massive outdoor display. I think that'd be really cool. It's something we need to look into. But yeah, maybe potentially have some races next year as well. But that's just an idea.
Perhaps you have to be from live DJ to live AV mixer. But the only thing is, I think watching people streams pretty good, but to sort of really get the sort of essence of the whole thing, I think things have to be quite carefully cut together, don't they? In these sort of the programs on TV, it's like very, very much pre-recorded, and then let's cut this to make the angles exciting. At least when it's not racing, people can see what's happening. Because if a member of the public sees the average race and they're just seeing going, what's going on? Who's winning? Who's in the lead? I don't understand. You're just seeing bizarre stuff. At least with freestyle, it's a bit more like, oh, they can't possibly fit through that gap. Oh my god, they're going for.
But yeah, it was, the whole thing was a massive success. We got all the authorization to do it. We did it properly. We got BMFA authorization and regulation, stuff like that to do it. One thing I was going to say, I forgot. It's completely gone my head.
Remember, else we'll have to put out the dementia thing, and you're too young for that.
Oh man, it's lost me. I'll come back to me in a minute. But yeah, so it's in the chat. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I figured it out now. Yeah, I was just gonna say, we didn't, like, this whole thing. It was about, I think, the pilot tickets we sold out like in the first day, which is just ridiculous. 60 pilot tickets. These were out. I think we did an early bird sale, so they were about 130 quid each, and they all sold out in a day, which is quite surprised us, to be honest. We're all kind of hyped up about that. But the important thing is as well, we're not like, we're doing this for the community. We're doing this for the hobby. We're not here to make any money at all. None of us have made any money from this, and any money we're making is going back into the next year's festivals, make it bigger and better, and sort of improve upon that. And yeah, that's I think something I wanted to put across. But yeah, so Russ, I'll definitely hit you up for next year, because you'll be awesome to get on the team with, on our team. Obviously only speak to other guys, but yeah, helping out in that way, do some streaming, that'd be really cool, I think, so that just other people that didn't make it can watch. Because I think we're kind of limited the amount of pilots we can actually have spectating, flying. Can only have so many people up at the air at once, and it's difficult as well, because if you're paying whatever for a ticket, you kind of want to have as much flight time. We want to get as many people flying up in the air as possible and getting as many packs through as possible, just to make it worth it for sort of flying. So if we have like say 120 people, for example, then it's just going to result in even less flight time for people. So I think 60 was a good number of pilots.
It's nicely organized. Back in the olden days, about 10 years ago, when we used to do meets, we topped it out at 12 to 15 people, and we maybe got 5 or 6 people in the air flying at a time, and that was only because we mixed up people flying on 5.8 and 1.2 and 2.4. So to have groups of people that were all in, and like I'm on R4 and I'm on R1 or whatever, and just like it's your turn to go, is a really nice idea of getting everybody maximize their flight time. I like that. I think that's nice organization. As you say, you double up the number of people, it means you halve the flight time. So it does have a ceiling limit there,
and also
of what can be done.
Yeah, all the all the facilities as well, the car parking area as well. We had a day where we were like asking people. I think some people didn't park really in the right place, and they were kind of blocking everyone. But in terms of that actual parking and stuff as well, that was somewhat an issue in some cases, because we only had like a car park, and everyone was of course everyone was wanting to bring their sort of camper vans and everything, and that if we have more people, and that's going to put more pressure on that side of thing. But yeah, like overall, I think that was a sweet 60 is like a nice sweet spot. I think maybe potentially a few more, but yeah, that was a good number for us, I think, for that.
Yeah, as you say, it'd be cool if you can get because spectators that come in the cars that the pilots come in don't add any extra pressure apart from perhaps toilets and showers.
Yeah.
You get them if you can get them interested in having things to watch.
And
that's
to
always
watch,
fantastic as well.
And to do as well, so sort of activities, get them sort of more involved in flying. We did have a whoop area, which was it's called Mamba's Madness, which was in the forest, and we had a dedicated newbie drone helped sponsor that. They had like sort of gates and stuff like that to set up a whoop area, and that worked really well. I wasn't there for most of that, but yeah, I think that was a really cool thing to have. We had people flying whoops at the same time as flight lines, because obviously we're in the woods, and it didn't really interfere much with the flight lines. We could still have them up at once, I think, is what we did. Or we had them up on one channel, I think, which weren't being used. But yeah, getting more people into the hobby, I think that's going to be the goal. Some of that, what's that people saying in the chat? Out of curiosity, how many drones did you take, and what type mainly? I guess you're asking me that question. As into Drone Fest, or just in general? Like, I didn't take any drones to Drone Fest because I had, like, in our car, we had all the PA equipment to bring as well. We had my parents going to stay at my grandparents' house in Birmingham. So we didn't really have much space in the car to bring anything else. I just didn't bring my FPV gear because I just knew I'd be doing festival stuff. So I didn't fly at all. But in terms of
did you feel you missed out on it? Did you like, if I could fly that?
I would like. Well, we had a couple of weeks ago before the festival. We had like a sort of, all the organizers went down a week early to shoot promo stuff. So we had a week of flying, and I've got a video out on my Instagram flying the Drone Fest site. So I've already flown it as well. So it wasn't too big of a deal. Like, if I hadn't flown it at all, then yeah, I probably would have bought my drones. But yeah. That, like, I wasn't too bothered, to be honest, because I knew I was already busy enough doing what what I was doing. I was doing obviously the DJ stuff, but also I was sort of helping out with the content as well, doing some filming and taking pictures. So I was kind of quite busy with that. But yeah, I usually take around 2 drones usually. I went on the Croatia trip, which was a couple of months back. I took around 3 drones, and I think I broke 2 of them. One was left, all good. But yeah, it's usually around 3 or 2. But my drones at the minute are kind of in a quiet state because I haven't really
recovered from Croatia.
Yeah, that and also just the such less time I've got now I'm working, because when I come home from work, it's just pretty much pitch black outside, or I'm just quite tired and don't really want to do anything. So yeah, it's definitely like. In terms of my involvement with the hobby and things, it's definitely, since I got a job, it's a bit annoying. But yeah. Oh, it's Hypo in the chat. Hello, Hypo. What a legend. Yeah. I don't know if I can talk a bit about Croatia for a bit. I don't know.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, Croatia trip. Well, you guys we were doing a podcast, didn't we? with all of us in Croatia with Stephen there. And I think everyone had an amazing time. In fact, Hypo was one of the pilots that came as well. And it was so good. We went on a full road trip from UK to Croatia. So we went through Germany. We went firstly through the Netherlands, then Belgium, then Netherlands, then Austria, and then Croatia. And it was like Fipo said, it was so good. I wish we could stay there longer. It's particularly in the Alps. This is an absolutely beautiful place. And I wish I would have bought a long range drone for that. If you go into the Alps, make sure you bring a long range drone. Because there's so much you can do. But
means building something bespoke, like designed just for that job, though.
Oh yeah. Oh, and something. Yeah, you do. To be honest, like I wouldn't. So I'm sorry. What's Stubby's FPV saying? It must be an epic. So want to. Yeah, it goes the Alps one day. Yeah, it was so good. Who's that geezer on the screen? Says Finley. But we met up with Philip. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen the Lego build video that Firecheck or Philip Rodelik's done. He's basically done a stop motion animation of these Lego figures building like a Superfly drone, and it is the best build video you'll ever see. I'll have to share it with you guys to potentially play. But yeah, he spent like a whole year doing it, and I'll send you a link. Yeah, Philip's one of the guys that's in Croatia, and he's sort of our tour guide, I guess. He showed us around all the spots. He helped us out last year as well. There we go. In the chat.
Dominic Clifton says, I learned to fly in the Alps and built my Acro Disco there.
Acro Disco. Are we talking about the Disco Quad, the TBS big thing that had the 450 and that was an Acro one?
Flex in it, yeah.
Man,
and he was like,
what's that like to play Acro?
Flipping that like anything. It was crazy.
I don't know if I can present, if I share my screen, if I share my second screen. Here we go. Can you see this?
Yeah, I can add it to the screen. There you go.
Brilliant. Right, let's just do a quick thing of this, right? So if I
share through.
Here you go. Check this out.
Say what you see.
So here we can currently see a stop motion animation of Philip building a Superfly drone, and there's all these Lego figures that it's just amazing.
They're painting the edges of the carbon.
Painting the edge of the quad, assembling the air unit, unboxing the motors.
There's Yoda using the Force and everything.
Look at this, he's using the
lightsaber.
Chopping the wires, look. He also uses the lightsaber to solder as well.
Oh, genius.
Oh, was that as well?
Am I right in thinking this is incredible? By the way, am I right in thinking that was a Sky Stars ESC?
I think it's a T-Motor one actually. Pacer. Look at that. Watch this. Using the lightsaber as a solder.
Oh, the attention to detail.
Look, chopping the wires. So good.
One by one.
Oh man, this guy had too much time in his hands.
Mate, that would drive me insane. Trying to do that bit by bit.
Yeah.
Oh my word. Oh, and C3PO sweeping away the excess wires. This is amazing. This is so good. Remind me, I'll have to add the link to that in the show notes.
I'm gonna see if I can get him in the chat now so we can provide you comments. So this is one of the bandos we went to in Croatia. It's called we call it the Mega Bando. It's basically a half-built hospital in Zagreb. You'll see in a minute.
Mute the audio, man.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get copyright, aren't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the Mega Bando you'll see here. He's flying that.
Oh yes, this is the one where Stephen just went down the corridor for a long time.
Yeah.
Did he make it to the end of the corridor without losing video?
Yeah, you can do that. Obviously, you got to keep your goggles parallel with the corridor. So any sort of offset you have with it, or if if you to one side, you're
Yeah.
just going to have the signal blocked. But yeah, you can easily make it throughout, as long as you're sort of in a straight line.
This is crazy. That is some hardcore flying.
Oh,
I was going to say,
Please
it's
tell
just getting that
me-
bit close.
After doing all of that, that wasn't the quad that he crashed.
I think it was. I think he put a comment in the chat the other day actually saying how he's just built a Superfly and he's now it's all just completely
Yeah,
wrecked
bashed
a bit,
in.
bashed up. Yeah,
Oh,
is another spot called, we call it Pillar Paradise. It's another one in Croatia.
yeah.
Just an absolutely insane spot.
Very geometric.
Oh, and then he says this is like the best save he's got. Like, boom, he saves it.
Rearm from
There's
turtle
another spot in
mode.
Croatia as well. It's just insane. The sort of spots they got there. We didn't actually get to fly this one. We didn't sort of know about this one, but really cool. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there. But,
Swanee Bean asks you a question, Curry Kitten. Have
I've just
you?
answered.
Did you? Damn it.
Yeah, just to explain, this is a cartridge for the Vectrex you can get where it will use the Vectrex screen up here, so a proper vector screen, and the cartridge itself will emulate a Star Wars arcade machine, but using the actual vectors of the Vectrex screen to do it that way, which looks pretty amazing. Although, albeit in a single color, but pretty nice.
I was gutted. I was away and didn't get to use the Let's Play Dementia when
I couldn't find it. My Dementia kicked in. I was like, "Where's the banner gone? It's gone away."
Brand
I don't know,
and
somewhere.
it's here.
I was
There you
brand.
go.
I was looking under banners. There we go.
It's not a banner.
Oh.
I know.
I'm gonna say.
Oh,
Apologies.
Curry Kitten, you've got some cool stuff. Did you manage to get the snares up and running without going too much off topic?
I've got the new SNES running, and I just got a new RGB cable for it, but I have to fix the old one, and I'm using the fix of the old one to decide if I can mod the new one, because the newer one is a single chip version, which is a lot nicer video, but I don't want to screw it up by modding it incorrectly, so I'll go back and try and mod the other one first. Fix it.
Have you got it up and running?
Yeah. But the new one's running, but it's only running in 50 hertz, so I haven't done the 60 hertz mod on it. The old one, no, I still need to go back and solder.
I ordered the American Director's Cut, and they sent it, and they put blue painter's tape to hold the disc in, and as I peeled it off, so yeah, spent quite a bit on buying this disc, and as you can see, I peeled it ever so carefully, but that last little bit just tore the silk screen off it.
Oh no!
Look at that.
Pain.
Oh,
Everybody knows,
Shame.
in order to hold a disc in, tissue paper, then close it. That keeps it in.
Twat.
Sad.
Oh, sorry, editor. I just swore. Damn it. It was the first, swear. Oh, sorry, buddy. Oh, man. Yeah, unfortunately, that's all pretty much we've got time for. Where it's been great. It's been lovely catching you up with you, DJ FPV failsafes of the FPV world.
Great to join. And yeah,
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Stick with us till after the show. Make sure all your audio is uploaded. And, yeah. Thank you to everyone who was live in the chat. We're live every Thursday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Martian, you've been in. Clive, Dominic Clifton, hello, buddy. Karen Tyler, make sure you check. Be good to see what you've been up to lately. Failsafe, you've been great. Subsea, Numbskull, Cerberus, Sonic Tonic, Subsea. Who else? TS13 FPV. Thank you, buddy. And where's your buddy from Croatia? Can't find him.
Hypo
Morning.
FPV.
Hypo.
FPV.
Yeah. And sorry if I've missed out anyone else. You've been joined by everyone's favourite co-kitten.
Goodbye.
Failsafe FPV.
Bye.
And I've been Brighton Till I Fly. You've been listening to Let's Show Now. Thank you to all our lovely sponsors who support us on Patreon. You guys rule. And next week, hopefully, we can get a bonus pod on the way. Thank you. Good night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.